Hey everyone, welcome back. We are going to continue the next remaining questions. As of now, 20 questions are completed. So, how to validate request data in Spring Boot REST API is done in the last session. Now, the next one called difference between the component and a bean in Spring application here. See here. So, at the rate component and at the rate beans based on our use case, we will use these annotations. Component we are using directly on a class. It is a generic annotation. Okay, Spring automatically detect during the component scanning. So, is it mandatory component on every class means not required at all. Why? Because this component annotation is divided into multiple annotations like a service, repository, controller, REST controller, like it's a generic annotation here. But whereas a bean, so at the rate bean is used to create our custom classes. So wherever we have at the rate bean, at the rate configuration annotation will be there in the real time. For the best example, you want to create a REST template, you want to make a HTTP call, how to create a object, how to make singleton object using at the rate bean annotation, we can do that activity here. So in our use case also I will explain you as part of the consumption. Let me show you here. So let me go to our application. Where is that application.java and I see at the rate bean annotation. Here we use REST template. Now with this IOC container will treat it is a singleton object here. That is the importance. Without doing this annotation, you cannot make it as well. You need to create explicitly here. So at the rate Spring Boot application internally using component configuration annotation here. So that's why we can write at the rate bean classes in application.java as well. That is the difference between the component and at the rate bean. Okay. Next, what are the HTTP methods are available? Okay, now what are the methods are available? We have five types. We have a lot of other methods also. Get means retrieving data from the database. Post means creating a new record on the server. Put, update a existing record means you have a record in database, you want to update the address or pin code or location, then we can go for the put. Patch, partially updating a resource means you forgot the password, only one variable you are modifying. Partial updates, then patch mapping. Delete means to remove a resource means you are deleting a record in the database, means the deleting the data in the database come under two parts, one for the permanent deletion and another one called soft deletion as well. Okay, so these are the HTTP methods in REST API development as well. Next, what status code should you return when a resource is not found? When particular URL is not available in your controller, then we should send as a 404 by default. This is our status code here. 404 not found status code here. Okay, next, difference between the REST versus GraphQL. So REST is a architectural style, multiple endpoints for different resources. For simple example, let me take a small example here so that you will get some idea. Imagine imagine you have a user object. User object have a ID, name, email, and address. Okay, some information you have. Suppose a client expecting, first he is expecting response as I need my response name and email. That is one guy requirement. Now second guy requirement is he someone required I need ID, I need name, I need email, I need address. Okay, now another guy is expecting, third client is expecting he need only address and email. If you have this kind of requirement in a REST, we need to create multiple endpoints. This is one endpoint, this is one endpoint, this is one endpoint. So multiple endpoints we should create. But in GraphQL, it is solving this problem for us. If you use a GraphQL query language, single endpoint, and it allows the client to specify exactly what data it is required here. So from data, now only single endpoint, you need to provide as a input which variables you want. That is the what GraphQL is working. Now if you want to know, now just type it here, GraphQL. You can go for the official website. It is a query language for your API. Describe your data, ask whatever you want, and you will get the predicted results. See, now this is your object. Out of that, I need a tagline. Only tagline you will get. You need a name and tagline. Then name and tagline also you will get it here. Even GraphQL, we have a video in our YouTube. Just you can go ahead and watch. Let me show you guys. Just type it here, Java Express GraphQL. Just type it here. Now see here, graph versus REST. Yeah, okay. It is almost we have a 38 minutes, around 40 minutes. We have complete implementation we done as part of in this video. Please go ahead and complete for more information on the GraphQL here. In interview, there is a chance. Do you have an idea? Even though if you are not working on that particular concept, at least what is GraphQL, you should be aware. Okay, that is the one about the difference between the REST versus GraphQL here. Next, what is the role of request body and response body? Request body is used to convert JSON from HTTP request into Java object. Okay, means from your application, whenever you are opening any controller, let me open controller. From Postman, you are sending JSON data. JSON data you are converting into an object by using which annotation? Request body annotation. That is the one it is saying here. Converting JSON from HTTP request body to Java object. Response body means Java object to JSON. Means here you are sending as a user object here, but in the Postman you can see as a JSON data, because internally by default it is available called response body annotation. You no need to specify explicitly, it is completely optional here. That is about response body. Why? Because REST controller is the combination of at the rate controller at the rate response body. Okay, hope you guys are clear about difference between the request body and response body here. Okay, next, how do you pass data to a post request in a Spring Boot application? Means in Spring Boot, we can pass data. You want to create a record in database. We are using post mapping by using an annotation, request body annotation here. This is the syntax here. Okay, next, how do you handle JSON serialization and deserialization in the Spring Boot here? Spring Boot is using a Jackson library by default to handle serialization and deserialization for our objects here. You no need to add explicitly. Serialization means converting object to JSON, JSON to object here. So this serialization, deserialization is using internally by your request body and response body annotation here. Okay, guys, who are watching this video, if you are completely new to our course, if you want to any live sessions, if you want to add, we are going to start a new batch on coming next week. So if you are watching for the first time, you can enroll in this batch as well, guys. Okay, we have a contact number in the description box. You can have a contact, or here we have a call contact information as well. So this is our contact number. You can ping in WhatsApp for enrollment in this course. Okay. Yeah. Now have a look here. How do you handle exceptions in REST API here? In REST APIs, we can handle by using very popular interview question. Now by using controller advice, by using exception handler. So throughout our project, anywhere any exception happen, it will look into this annotation or controller advice annotation here. Here you need to specify your exceptions here, exception handler to catch specific exceptions. So like if you see in our project, let me have a look. Let me have a look here. Uh, Go to our exception package, exception handler. See, exception handler, resource access exception. Okay, parent level exception. In this way, you can create your custom exceptions here. Okay, as part of preparation, this is okay. But if you really need a hands-on, you need to practice a more on this part as well here. Okay, but all these videos are available in our portal directly here itself only. If you course this one, here if you see Java interview videos, part 1, part 2, part 3, like that, all types of interview questions will try to cover as well. Okay, next, how do you implement versioning in REST APIs here? So in our REST API, overall, 4 ways we can implement our versioning here. One for the URL versioning, request parameter versioning, header versioning, media type versioning here. URL means v1, v2, v3 here. So when if anyone asks in interview room, you can say in our project we are using URL versioning because it is simple to implement, easily visible and testable via browser and like a postman. Commonly used and supported by most API gateways as well. And a request parameter versioning also, this is a you need to pass the request parameter. Header versioning, you need to pass the header as part of your request. And this is a media type versioning here. Okay, as part of our development we used a URL versioning. This is the one pattern here. Okay, next, how do you document REST APIs in our Spring Boot application here? So to handle in our Spring Boot application, okay, we are using a open API. Using open API, we can able to handle our Swagger documentation. If you add a dependency in our application, you can access your open API or whichever you created all the controllers, user controller, all the operations you can able to see as part of your open API here. That is about documentation. Where you can see means to understand this knowledge. So if you see here, somewhere see here, REST API validation underscore open API here. Here we clearly explain the complete picture how to use open APIs in your application here. Okay, so that's all for today, and we'll take another session and we'll complete the next questions as well. Okay, thank you guys.